items, many of which are kind of routine types of things, but they still have to be acted upon. So we will begin this morning with the pledge. Salute Commissioner Gabriel.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the minutes of June 11th, 2012.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the minutes of June 11th. Are there any comments, questions, corrections, deletions? Hearing none, we'll call for the vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. There is no one signed up for public comment. Is there anyone who would like to comment from the public? Seeing none, we'll move forward.
Chairman, I move to approve the notice agenda, one item, and it's resolution 12-194.
I second that.
The motion has been made and seconded to approve the notice agenda. Will the clerk please read that into the minutes?
Item 1, call for bids for the Kuntz Road widening project. Bids are due by 11 a.m. to the clerk of the board on July 10th, 2012. This is resolution number 12-194.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tim Elsey, Lewis County Public Works Director, speaking to item number 1 on your notice agenda. The Kuntz Road widening project is grant funded with $748,000 from the CRAB RAP funds, $1 million from FHWA STP funds, and $552,000 from Lewis County. This project is listed as number 9 on the county's Transportation Improvement Program. The project is for the improvement of 1.71 miles of Kuntz Road by widening and reconstructing the roadway, crushed surfacing, base, top course, hot mix asphalt overlays, shoulder finishing, placing pavement markers, installing flexible guideposts, traffic control, constructing culverts, placing guardrail, improving the stormwater and other work. Lewis County has received written authorization from WSDOT local programs to advertise for this construction. Sealed bids are due to the Board of County Commissioners on or before Tuesday, July 10th, 2012 at 11 a.m. Bids will be opened at 11:30 on July 10th, 2012.
Is that via Bonner County, Idaho?
No, it would not. I tried to be brief.
For the edification of the constituents, could you give just very briefly tell us what all those acronyms are?
Well,
CRAB and...
CRAB is the County Road Administration Board, and that's a rural arterial program. Okay. And we're receiving $748,000 from that fund. And from the Federal Highways Administration Surface Transportation Program, we're receiving $1 million.
The FHWA is the Federal Highways Administration.
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just like to point out that that this is going to be a pretty quick turnaround on this. We're asking for July 10th bid opening, and that bid opening will be in this room on a Tuesday, and that's all it is Public Works bid opening rather than a bid opening before the board. And we want to get this project going by August so we can get in the fish window.
Correct. Thank you.
Is there any other comment on the notice agenda? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor of the notice agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the consent agenda, many items. Item 2 through 19, resolution number 12-195 through 12-212.
I second.
Motion is made to approve the consent agenda. Will the clerk please read those items into the minutes?
Item 2, resolution number 12-195, approval of warrants for payment. Item 3, resolution number 12-196, pertaining to competitive bidding and advertisement and formal sealed bidding. Item 4, resolution number 12-197, acceptance of an agreement for jail facilities with Washington State Department of Corrections. Item 5, resolution number 12-198, approving a contract with Community Mediation Center of Lewis County to assist residents in resolving disputes through mediation. Item 6, Resolution Number 12-199, approving a contract with Community Mediation Center of Lewis County to provide family court mediation and indigent mediation services to all domestic relation cases involving children. Item 7, Resolution Number 12-200, approving the reestablishment of Senior Fund 199. Item 8, Resolution Number 12-201, approving the establishment of Debt Service Fund 211 for the purpose of establishing a reserve to pay the debt service for the Drinking Water State Revolving Fund loan. Item 9, Resolution Number 12-202, approving the transfer of funds to the Southwest Washington Fair revolving account to prepare change doors for the annual Harvest Swap Meet. Item 10, Resolution Number 12-203, approving the transfer of funds to use during the Southwest Washington Fair to the revolving working account. Item 11, Resolution Number 12-204, approving the transfer of funds during the Southwest Washington Fair to withdraw as needed to fill on-site ATM machines. Item 12, Resolution Number 12-205, approving a supplemental agreement with Gordon Thomas Honeywell, LLP. Item 13, Resolution Number 12-206, approving an interlocal with Centralia Chehalis Airport for the use of currently active on-call consultant roster. Item 14, Resolution Number 12-207, approving medical rates paid by non-represented employees. Item 15, Resolution Number 12-208, approving the collective bargaining agreement or collective bargaining with ASME 1341-S, representing the Sheriff's Office clerks. Item 16, Resolution Number 12-209, approving the collective bargaining with Teamsters 252, representing Lewis County Prosecutor's Office. Item 17, Resolution Number 12-210, approving the collective bargaining with Teamsters 252, representing Juvenile Probation and Clerical. Item 18, Resolution Number 12-211, approving collective bargaining with Teamsters Combined Group. Item 19, Resolution Number 12-212, approving the collective bargaining with ASME Community Services.
Thank you. Commissioner?
Item 2, Resolution 12-195 is our weekly approval of warrants. This approves 232 warrants issued by the Lewis County Auditor's Office for a total of $916,425.80. Item 3, Resolution 12-196 approves new rules in accordance with the Revised Code of Washington, Chapter 39.04.190, and superseding Resolution 95041 of the Lewis County. It is a rule for competitive bidding, reference advertisement, and formal sealed bidding with respect to purchases and leases under $25,000. The new rules increase the amount from $2,500 to $5,000 where advertising and bidding may be dispensed. This is for all of our departments and the offices. Previously, you did not have to follow the rules if something was under $2,500. That has now been raised to $5,000. Purchases from $5,000 to $25,000 may dispense with advertising and bidding by selecting from a vendor list solicited by the county auditor at least twice annually. And those rules, there are separate rules for using that list, which are partially competitive, but the folks get on the list by applying to the auditor. You can work with that list usually with 2 or 3 people, so it's much like the bidding process, but it doesn't require the entire advertising process and bidding process. Of course, as usual, anything that's over $25,000 must be advertised and sealed bids must be received. So this is, again, policy. The old policy was written in 1995. It has been updated and allowing us some new flexibility in terms of the amount of contracts that we can dispense with bidding. The auditor next week will have its semi-annual announcement of solicitation for people to get onto the list. Okay,
Kevin?
item 4 is you, Kevin.
Morning, my name is Kevin Hansen. I'm a Lewis County Jail Administrator. I'm here this morning to speak on Resolution 12-197, which is number 4 on the agenda. This resolution creates an agreement between Lewis County Jail and the Washington State Department of Corrections to house their prisoners who are otherwise lawfully committed to the Department of Corrections. This agreement is similar in content and scope to other jail agreements. In return for housing, the Washington State Department of Corrections shall pay a per diem rate of $65.57 a day. The department shall be responsible for extraordinary medical costs and prescription costs, and this is a one-year agreement expiring December 31st, 2012.
Kevin, this is really a renewal, is it not?
It is. We've had existing contracts prior to this.
And we are getting more money on this contract? Than
5%.
About 5% more. Okay.
And this is retro to the first of the year?
Correct. We will go back and rebill.
Okay.
Thank you.
Crystal, your turn.
My name is Crystal Partee, and I'm with the Lewis County Clerk's Office. I'm the Chief Deputy, and I have 2 contracts. The first one is Resolution Number 12-198. It's a contract with Lewis County and the Lewis County Community Mediation Center to assist Lewis County residents in resolving disputes through mediation. It's for the year 2012 in the amount of $18,000 per year. The second contract is Resolution Number 12-199. It's also with the Community Mediation Center of Lewis County, and it's to perform family court mediation and indigent mediation services in family law cases involving children. It's also for the period of 2012, and it's in the amount of $17,000 for the year.
Crystal, both of these are funded by a fee that comes out of court fees?
Yes, the first one is a surcharge upon Lewis County District Court filing fees. The second one is funded from surcharge on marriage license fees. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Morning, Commissioners. Donna Truman, Budget Director. I'm here for item number 7, resolution number 12-200. This resolution is requesting that Fund 199 for Senior Services be reestablished. Senior Services Fund 199 was closed in November of 2011 with Resolution 11-353, as the programs related to this fund were assumed by Catholic Community Services of Western Washington on January 1st, 2010. CCS has chosen not to renew their contract with Lewis County and support senior enrichment programs at 5 senior centers in the county. Since Lewis County will assume the responsibilities of the senior enrichment programs effective July 1st, 2012, there's a need to reestablish Fund 199 to account for the revenue and expenditures associated with this program.
I think that we need to give a pretty more detailed explanation of what happened. Several years ago, the county always ran the senior center program, which consists of 5 senior centers in Lewis County, one at Twin Cities here at the fairgrounds, and we have additional centers at Winlock, Toledo, Morton, and Packwood. We had run that seniors program not only providing for nutritional meals, both congregate and Meals on Wheels, but also a senior transportation program, and subsequently an enrichment program that covered additional meals that were not provided by nutrition, and other activities such as college classes and in-center type activities. That program was taking quite a bit of subsidizing from county general fund, and so we looked several years ago to find a way of getting that operation to be more self-supportive, and we turned to Catholic Community Services, who ran similar programs and King County, Pierce County, and other locations in the state. And knowing that Catholic Community Services did an extensive amount of fundraising, we thought that they would be able to raise funds to make the program more self-supporting. After 2 years and a half of operation, Catholic Community Services informed us that the enrichment program had too many demands and there wasn't sufficient funding for it, and that they were no longer interested in running that program. We want everybody to know that the senior centers are very important to this set of county commissioners. We have no intention of allowing them to go under or for their programs to be diminished. And for that reason, we are now back in the business of the enrichment program. We've already put out a notice to get new site leaders at each of the 5 sites and bring those back in to the county, and we're talking with the boards of each of the senior centers in how this enrichment program will run in the future. It is going to be require that the seniors help us to raise funds to do this program, and there are some very big challenges out there, but we are committed to making it work. At least for the present, the Catholic Community Services will continue to run the nutrition program and the transportation program in the senior centers at least through the end of the year. We are currently looking at what the situation will be thereafter. This is a program which is currently funded mostly with funding that comes through the Area Agency on Aging for the nutrition program and the transportation program. There are federal requirements that we have to work with, and we're still studying how to do that. But since we are getting back in the business of working with the seniors and keeping those senior centers running, we need to do this particular resolution so that we have a location for the funding to put the money that we have, that we receive in donations and otherwise to keep this running. We will make it work.
And along with that, we are encouraging those who have chosen not to be a part of the senior centers with the recent move to Catholic Community Services to become more involved, encourage all the seniors to become involved in their senior centers. We need bodies to keep it running. We need bodies to justify keeping it running. So all of the centers need to have more help. As people get more elderly, they're less able to contribute like they have in the past, and we encourage all of our seniors to take part in their centers, be a part of them, and help with the work needed to keep them going. Thank you, Donna.
Having worked this weekend putting up a couple of signs on hills, I learned that being elderly is not the best condition to muscle around big pieces of lumber.
Okay, I'm here also to discuss item number 8, Resolution 12-201, to create the 2011 Debt Service Fund, 2011 Debt Service Fund number 211 for the purpose of establishing a reserve to pay debt service costs for the Drinking Water State Revolving Fund loan number DM 10-952-005. The Drinking Water State Revolving Fund loan contract was authorized on March 4th, 2011 between Lewis County and the Washington State Public Works Board for Vader Water Distribution System Improvements with resolution number 11-112. The contract provides a loan of which half will be forgiven from the Drinking Water State Revolving Fund. According to the contract amendment A, the grant loan for $714,675 will be repaid through installments after completion of the project. Section 1.37 of the contract states that the county will establish a dedicated loan repayment account and will deposit not less than 25% of the annual debt service payment into the account at the end of each quarter during the term of the loan. The funds will be held in this account and will be used to pay the debt service payments as they become due. The new fund will be known as the 2011 Debt Service Fund number 211.
Okay, here again, this is a mandate that's required of us by the state agency providing the funding. The Vader water system, which we basically took over a couple of years ago as a distribution system, and its pipes, which are badly outdated and broken, have caused numerous problems for our utilities people to keep that working and keep water there in the town. We are starting the contract of replacing those pipes here this month, right? Or next month? Early next month. So since we're now starting the actual replacement, we now are going to have to also think about paying back the account, and so establishing the fund to do that.
Donna, it's assumed, but I think it needs to be clarified, the revenue that goes into this fund is from the fees paid by the water users down there. It does not come out of our general fund, is that correct?
That's correct.
And my understanding is that even with this, it'll allow some time for this fund to develop over the next 3 years, is it? Before we have to make any payments?
It depends on the amortization schedule and the time that construction gets completed. So this puts in the estimated amount for the debt service payment every quarter over the next period of time until the construction period is done, and then an amortization schedule will be established to repay the debt. We don't currently have one.
Tim, can you clarify? Because I was under the understanding that we had a 3-year grace period.
That's a different, oh, I know what you're talking about. Do you mind?
No, no.
We did take over a drinking water loan from the city of Vader. They did postpone the payments on that loan, and that became due this year with the first annual principal payment and 3 years' worth of interest.
Okay,
That's a different loan.
okay. Thank you.
But to clarify,
There you go.
real quick, this will not come due until the project is complete, which we don't expect it to be complete with the water service meters replacement until sometime next year. So the first payment will be due 1 year after that. And they're not requesting that we put in this quarterly at this point. We're to put this in as a one-time payment until such time as the contract is completed, and then we'll put it in quarterly after that.
And the rates that we've recognized, the rate increases for the city of Vader, are this amount for repayment is incorporated in those rates.
That's correct. Depending upon water usage and how things go in the future and future water breaks and expenses, but yes.
Okay,
Thank
thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Gail Soboleski, and I'm Fair Manager. And I am here to speak to agenda items number 9, 10, and 11. Number 9, 12, 202 is a resolution to authorize the transfer of additional funds to the Southwest Washington Fair's revolving account in the amount of $6,300. This amount is used for change during the Harvest Swap Meet. Harvest Swap Meet is September 22nd to 23rd. Resolution number 12-203 is a resolution to authorize the transfer of additional funds to the Southwest Washington Fair revolving account in the amount of $1,000 and a second transfer of $25,000 to be used during the annual Southwest Washington Fair. The $1,000 is used currently for the change drawers, for the additional tickets that we're selling, and our additional events that we have from now until fair time. The $25,000 would be used at our gates.
During the fair.
During fair, right.
That is 14 to 19 August.
What did you say?
The fair itself is August 14 to 19.
Right, exactly. That's right. And then Resolution 12-204 is a resolution to transfer the amount of $100,000 to be used in the ATM machines during the fair of August 14th through the 19th. During the fair, we actually man the ATM machines and keep them stocked with money, and for that, we get an additional amount from the ATM company.
Whopping $1,000.
That's right. Every bit helps.
It is 75 cents a transaction, but it is.
Right.
And all three of these accounts, this is, what we're doing is we're taking money and allowing the fair staff to be able to operate, but we're putting in additional money for change in their change drawers during the harvest swap meet and the lead up to the fair itself and the ATMs. All of this is watched very closely by the Treasurer's Office. Our funds come out of Security Bank, where we have our account. In the swap meet and the fair itself, someone from the Treasurer's Office will actually be there to watch the transfer and make sure that the money is handled appropriately, and then all of it gets put back in to the treasurer's account at the end of the event. So.
And for each of these amounts, we have specific dates they have to be back by. So we do work with the Treasurer's Office.
Bob Johnson, Director of Community Development, speaking to item number 12, resolution number 12-205. This is approval of a second supplementary personal services agreement between Lewis County, acting as fiscal agent for the Chehalis River Basin Flood Authority, and Gordon Thomas Honeywell, LLP, for consulting and coordination services not to exceed $10,000, and authorization for the Director of Community Development to sign the same on behalf of the county. Lewis County acts as the fiscal agent for the Flood Authority, and money appropriated by the Washington State Legislature in the amount of $1.32 million is passed through the Flood Authority by Lewis County. Any agreements for the use of that money has to be authorized and has to be done through contract, either through the agreement with the OFM or through agreements authorized by the Flood Authority and approved by them and then done by this Board of County Commissioners. Even though this amount of $10,000 is doesn't reach the threshold for actual action by the Board of County Commissioners, as most contracts do, in the interests of transparency, thank you. I was groping there. We've elected to do this. We want to be perfectly open with everything that happens with the money and the actions that are taken by the Flood Authority. And so the Board of County Commissioners, in approving this, will approve $10,000 additional funding to Gordon Thomas Honeywell, who act as consultants and facilitators for the Flood Authority. Lara Fowler is the primary principal person from that firm that works with the Flood Authority, and she has in fact accrued additional, she's done additional work that wasn't accounted for in their original $91,000 contract. The Flood Authority authorized an additional $10,000 to pay for and offset some of the costs that she's run up in addition to what was provided for in the original and the first supplemental contract. That $10,000 is available through the $1.32 million funding in other accounts that we can transfer around. We've got the approval of OFM to do that. So this will in fact reimburse some of that, those costs. This contract will run and end on June 30th of this year, since there is no June 31st. At which time there'll have to be another contract for facilitation services. And in fact, those will be coming pretty soon. I think Lara told me at the Flood Authority meeting last Friday that the Executive Committee has been considering additional facilitation and consulting contracts, and those will be coming before the Flood Authority and then to you in the near future.
I need to comment here that, and I think Edna will agree with me, having also sitting on the Flood Authority, that when we got this original contract from Gordon Thomas Honeywell and then the subsequent contract with SPGH, it was considerably less money than we previously had paid Adolphson to essentially do the same thing. I mean, by magnitudes of almost a little bit less than half to 30% of what we previously paid. Lara Fowler has really done an outstanding job for us. I mean, we could not have had a better person to lead us through this difficult stage of planning for flood mitigation than Lara. And she put in a considerable amount of her own time, and I must tell you that with the criticism of her colleagues at Gordon Thomas Honeywell, because she was essentially putting in a lot of time as a lawyer for that firm that would normally be paid and expected to be paid. And so this is not something where we're trying to give a gift. We're trying to recompensate Lara for the work that she has done for us. We're unfortunately losing her. Unfortunate for us, not for Lara. Her husband, who is a geographer, has just received a contract with Pennsylvania State University to become a full-time professor. And Lara, for some reason, wants to join him. She's been quite fortunate. She's also being offered a position at Pennsylvania State to teach law in the Pennsylvania State Law School. And we wish her the most in her future endeavors. And we're right now just cleaning some things up so that we can compensate her for the very, very outstanding work that she's done for us.
Tim Elsey, Public Works Director, speaking to item number 13, resolution number 12-206, approving an interlocal agreement with the Centralia Chehalis Airport for use of the currently active on-call consultant roster. This resolution is similar to the airport's resolution 2011-055, which allows the Chehalis Centralia Airport to utilize the county's small works roster. In the 2011 audit performed by the Washington State Auditor's Office for the airport, not for the county, for the airport, it was noted that the airport needed an interlocal agreement allowing the airport the use of the county's on-call consultant roster, similar to the small works roster agreement established in Resolution 10-018. The airport and the county have already established a master interlocal agreement and an interlocal agreement for the use of the small works roster. Both interlocals have an expiration date of December 31st, 2014, and the airport has asked that the interlocal include the use of the on-call consultant roster and have the same expiration date so that they may renew all three at the same time.
This is something that we can do as a county government, that since we are larger than a lot of our small taxing districts and folks that work with us, we can do some things they can't afford to do, and RCW 39.80.030 allows us to extend our services to these smaller taxing districts.
That's correct. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Archie Smith with Lewis County Human Resources. I am here to present items number 14 through 19. I'm going to break this down into two presentations. One will be item number 14. The second presentation will be item number 15. Sorry, item number 14 will be 1. Item 15 through 19 will be 2. Presentation number 2. For item number 14, Resolution 12-207, we are approving medical rates paid by non-represented employees. Basically, the Board of County Commissioners is moving up the monthly employer contribution from $835 per employee per month to $865.88 per employee per month. This $835 rate has been frozen for a few years. The employees have not received anything. The benefits have continued to increase, and this will take effect as of July 1st, 2012.
Actually, the benefits have continued to decrease.
Well, I'm talking the benefit price, the cost of benefits have continued to increase.
They increase, but
the benefits themselves have actually been drawn back, deductibles increased and all of that. And so the board has actually moved to make this effective July 1st of 2012. So that's item number 1.
Yeah, I think that one of the things that conflicts us is that with the hard times that we've had economically and having to make some very difficult decisions, there has been a shift to the employee of a significant part of their cost for health benefits and insurance. We like to be able to do better, but the realities are what we have to deal with. The problem that we have here is one of equity for our non-representative employees, because the unions have the ability to negotiate with us for their contracts, and what we find is and Archie's going to be talking about 5 of the union contracts here, and you'll see that with at least one of them, they get significant more benefit than, or a greater share that they don't have to pay than do our non-contract employees or non-representative employees. I think it's important not to allow that to get too separated, and to provide equity to the non-represented employees. I wish that we could raise this a little bit higher than we did, but it's the idea of keeping equity.
Understand. Items number 15 through 19 are 5 collective bargaining agreements for Lewis County. And most of the collective bargaining agreements were focused on basically 2 primary issues. One is a cost of living adjustment for wages, and the other one is the amount of the employer insurance contribution that it pays. And so we have been on those issues for multiple years, and we have dealt with that issue quite diligently. Basically, in all these contracts, there is no COLA for the 2012 calendar year.
Spell out.
What's that?
COLA is?
Cost of living adjustment. The contracts, with the exception of one, are a 1-year agreement from January 1st of 2012 to December 31st of 2012. The AFSCME contract actually is a 2-year agreement that goes through 2013. In order to get that 2-year agreement, though, we did give them a reopener for wages or benefits, because that's the only way they would give us a 2-year deal. And that's why I repeatedly come back here and present contracts, because since we are not giving out a lot of financial benefits, the unions are not willing to go beyond a 1-year contract. The other major issues of the contract, also for the union contracts, is that their employer insurance contribution will also, effective July 1st, be moved up to $865.88 per employee per month. They have also agreed to the payroll change language, so when we bring on the new financial system, that they will comply with the dates needed for that to occur. And then there's a lot of individual stuff of just minor, changing times or 15 minutes here or there, but those are the big ticket items that we dealt with throughout the negotiations. Still have a few contracts that are open that did not. We actually had one vote down the contract. So we will go back to the table. We have one that has not voted the contract, but their insurance rate is actually higher than the $865.88. And then we have our interest arb groups that
Archie,
are going.
So how many of our contracts have we solidified for this year?
With this week and next week, we will actually close 7 of the 12 contracts, understanding that 3 of our contracts are interest arbitration. Those are completely a different type of negotiation process. And then we actually have 2 other contracts, the assessors and 911, that we are still working on to get closed. 911 voted down its contract, which was the same offer that these other contracts have agreed with, so we will have to deal with that. The assessors contract, there's really no change. We are just doing status quo, because their insurance monthly contribution is $880 and some change, $880 per month, and we're not increasing that. We're not offering them an increase, so they don't really have a huge need to close out that contract. And I've asked, let's just close it out. If they don't want to meet, then we'll just leave it status quo. And then 2013 is right around the corner.
Of the 5 contracts we have here, the one is with the sheriff's clerks.
Yes, it is.
The AFSCME. The second one is with the prosecutor's office, and the third is with the juvenile probation and clerical employees. That one gets a $984.15 rate for their.
Yes, they actually have the highest non-interest arbitration rate.
Right, and then the last one is with the combined group of, I believe that's Public Works and Community Development. No, that's the next one.
Right, the combined work is actually, well, it has parts of Public Works, Community Development, Budget, Fiscal, and Central Services.
So, and those
And
are,
it's the second
those are
largest
all the
group.
same. Several of these got a Me Too clause. You want to explain that?
Yeah, the Me Too clause is a clause that if we give a COLA, a cost of living adjustment, to non-represented employees, electeds, or directors for the 2012 calendar year only, that they would receive that equal percentage increase. So if we came out after, next week and said, okay, we're going to give the non-representatives a 2% COLA, they too would also get that.
So the other aspect is that, again, very hard negotiation. The money's just not there, and we're trying to provide equity, but virtually all these contracts are being approved well after their start dates.
Yes, and it has been that way for the last couple of years, that we have just, and I have actually just constantly come back to you, probably, half a dozen times at the union's request, which I honor, is giving you different presentations for finances, and we just have not been able to move on that.
At least we're at the half point of the year.
Yeah, this was optimistic. Yeah, this was very
Last
good.
time, I know we were doing contracts into November,
Yes, we were.
and we may still with some of these. But,
Yes, we may.
our agreement with the bargaining units is that if we can't solve a contract before the start date, then the old contract continues forward until the new contract's done.
Yes, it does.
Thank you, Archie. Any further comments on the consent agenda? Then I will call for the vote on the consent agenda. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We have one hearing this morning regarding a non-exclusive franchise. And the hearing process is as follows. We have a staff report, followed by a question and answered period, followed by public comment. And we will open the hearing this morning with a staff report by Mr. Unzelman.
Tim, you can bring that list on up to Lee.
If anyone would like to speak to the hearing, there is a sign-up sheet up here. No one has currently signed up.
Larry Unselman, Real Estate Services Manager, speaking to Resolution 12-213, which is in the matter of a non-exclusive franchise to Lake Mayfield Community Club. This hearing is to consider granting a non-exclusive franchise to Lake Mayfield Community Club to construct, operate, and maintain their water facilities on Klahawa Drive, Chief Umptux Road, Chief Kiona Road, and Wenatchee Loop rights-of-way.
I was just checking to see how you'd make it through those names.
No guarantees on those pronunciations. Near Mayfield Lake. This franchise would actually replace a franchise that was granted by the county back in 1963, which was for a period of 49 years, which is set to expire on August 26th of 2012. This franchise that we're considering today would actually start on August 27th of 2012 and go from there forward. The water system serves the lot owners within the Lake Mayfield Estates subdivision. Resolution 12-162, which was passed by this board on May 21st of 2012, set this date, June 18th, as the date for hearing on the matter. This non-exclusive franchise to construct, operate, and maintain the water system on these county road rights-of-way is being granted pursuant to and in conformance with RCW 36.55, as well as Lewis County Code 12.25 through 12.50. The RCW 36.55 requires that no hearing be held on a proposed franchise until 5 days after the last publication date and 15 days after posting thereof in 3 public places. Publication must be twice in the official newspaper for the publication in the county. Publication did occur on May 23rd and May 30th in the East County Journal and May 24th and 31st in the Chronicle. The franchise was posted in 3 public places
affidavits are on file indicating compliance with the posting and publication requirements. This franchise, with a 5-year term, has been sent to the applicant, Lake Mayfield Community Club, and they have reviewed and accepted the terms and have signed the franchise agreement. It's a recommendation of the Public Works Department that this franchise for a water system on Clahawa Drive, Chief Umptuck's Road, Chief Kiona Road, and Wenatchee Loop rights-of-way be granted to Lake Mayfield Community Club.
This is a renewal, so we don't expect that there's going to be any new construction here. This is a system that already exists. We're just extending the franchise, and unless they're, generally speaking, what we're seeing is that the franchise is used for the pipes that go between the source of the water and the homes themselves, and so any unless they were like Vader and they use that what's that pipe you got there in Vader that is made of transite pipe. Unless they have transite pipe, probably not having to be replaced anytime too soon. But this does give them the right to go in and fix any leaks and things like that as they use our right-of-way.
That's correct.
Are there any other questions for Mr. Unselman? Any questions from the audience? Hearing none, I will close the question and answer period and ask Larry if your comments could be incorporated into the hearing, and we'll open the hearing.
Yes,
comment
if you would,
period.
please.
Okay, we will incorporate those comments into the hearing. Is there any public comment on this franchise agreement? Is there any public comment? Any comments from the board? Seeing none, I will close the hearing on the franchise and ask for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'd move that we approve Resolution 12-213, a non-exclusive franchise to Lake Mayfield Community Club.
I second that.
Motion is made and seconded. Will the clerk please read that item into the minutes?
In the matter of a non-exclusive franchise to Lake Mayfield Community Club to construct, operate, and maintain water system facilities in Lewis County rights-of-way, and setting forth conditions accompanying a grant of non-exclusive franchise, and providing for county administration and regulation of the non-exclusive franchise. This is resolution number 12-213.
Oh, and you're not going to pronounce all the names?
Nope.
Okay, I'll call for the vote on the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Mr. Chair, with no further business, I move we adjourn.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to adjourn. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. We're adjourned.